Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Generation Zen Podcast. And joining me today is a very special guest. We got my friend, Julia Tilley. What's going on, Julia?
Hello. Oh, nothing much. Just vibing. How are you doing, Justin?
I'm doing pretty good, but it sounds like you've been kind of living a crazy life because you broke your foot.
I did. Yeah, that was not part of my 4-year college plan.
No, no, I don't think
least.
so. I don't think it was,
No.
but you didn't tell me how you broke it. So
Okay.
what happened?
It's pretty dumb. So it was like the second week of dance starting up. I dance at Oswego. And I came to dance late because I had late work shift. So I was jumping right into it. And I was I gotta gotta get the choreography down, gotta do this. And I was doing a jump that I've done literally since elementary school. I've never had any problems with it. And I just fell. And I was okay, that hurt a lot, but I probably just sprained something, whatever. So then I sat out for the rest of the dance. I was supposed to be in Lee Hall dancing for 3 hours. So I just kept sitting out and I was icing it. And then my foot started swelling. And I was that's probably not a good sign. So then I stood up and tried to walk. And it was a pain I've never felt before. And growing up a dancer, I hurt myself a lot, falling and whatever. And then my friend made me go to urgent care. I got the x-ray. I broke my 5th metatarsal and tore ankle ligaments.
Wow.
So I'm just kind of out of it.
So did you know that you broke it when it happened? Because I broke my
No.
arm when I was really little, elementary school. And I knew something was definitely wrong because I could barely move it. Some other people, though, when they break a leg or a foot or something, they won't know it until they get the x-ray.
Yeah, I didn't know it. I thought that the worst maybe was a hairline fracture. And then I got the x-ray and they were no, you broke it. You broke your foot. And I was what do you mean? I'm wearing Crocs. I'm trying to walk.
Yeah, because you were able to walk there, right?
Yeah. So it was it hurt a lot. And I kind of had to walk kind of on the inside, the instep of my foot. And my foot was actually so swollen, it wouldn't really fit fully into my Croc. And I should have known then that something was wrong. But I was hoping for the best. And a little disappointed, but that's okay.
Well, at least it wasn't super an ACL or something crazy like that,
true.
you know?
Yeah, they said actually if I broke it farther up the bone, I would have had to get surgery.
Wow. So you didn't even have to do surgery, which is thank God for that. Because
I know
our friend Josh, he I don't know if he told you this, but he broke his leg or something, but it also tore his ACL, so he had to get surgery on his leg twice. So you were really at least you'd have to get surgery, and you're just recovering. You had a couple month recovery, I guess.
Yeah, they said 4 to 6 weeks. So at the 6-week mark, I have to get a second X-ray so they can see if I can dance or what I can do, or if it's has not healed. That's a problem. So that will be March 13th. I'm getting my second X-ray on Friday the 13th, which is a little spooky. But
yeah. Well, hopefully it goes out okay, because you're obviously having to use the elevators and stuff like that.
Yeah, I got trapped in an elevator. That was
You
fun.
got trapped in an elevator. Okay, you didn't tell me this story. How did you get trapped in an elevator?
Okay, so I was in Sheldon trying to go from the 3rd floor to the 2nd, and I was still using crutches at this point. And so I was just going down 1 floor to go to work, and then all of a sudden the elevator just stopped and it wouldn't go to the 2nd floor. So I was well, maybe I just didn't press the button. So I pressed it again. The button would not light up. So then I started to, sweat a little bit. I was kind of panicking because that elevator's creepy in general. And then I pressed the 1st floor to see if it would go to the 1st floor, and it didn't. And then all of a sudden it started shrieking. And the part in the elevator where it tells you what floor you're on?
Yeah, usually in any kind of elevator, it'll just say floor 2 or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it said 2 and then N something, some letters, and just flashing. So then I had to use the help button, and I was hey, I'm stuck in the elevator, and UP was we can't hear you.
No way.
Yeah. So then I called back, and then I was okay, I'm stuck in this elevator. They're what floor? And I was I don't know.
Wow.
I tried to go.
Yeah, because you couldn't see. The light wouldn't light up, so you didn't know. Wow. So you had your phone though, right? So you had to call them?
Well, I called them through the elevator button because I had no service in the elevator.
Oh, you didn't even have service.
No, so I used the help button in the elevator.
Oh my God.
Which I'm super glad it worked. Then the elevator randomly just started working again. So then I called them from the front desk phone, and I was hey, I was trapped, but I'm not anymore. It was 7 or 8 minutes. And they were like, okay, but we're still gonna have to fix it and shut it down. So then I had to like find a way to like crawl up the stairs with my crutches after my work shift.
Yeah, it's like, how do they expect somebody if the elevator is broken? Because that building, if I remember, there's only like one elevator in that whole building, right? So it's like, how are you supposed to, for someone who needs out, like, what if you were in a wheelchair or something and you couldn't get up the stairs? Like, that is a big problem.
Yeah, and then if you're stuck on the second floor, you can't get. There's no like second floor exit, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You just be stuck there.
That's crazy, and it's like having one elevator in these buildings is really scary because people actually need it. Like, it's not just for lazy people. People actually need to use the elevator.
And my friend told me that actually I think it was Andrew. Yeah, Andrew told me that if I lived in Moreland or Lonis, I'd have to like move because there's no elevator. But I don't know because I've never.
No, I think he's right. Because, I mean, there's got to be at least some kind of ramp or something, but I don't think there is.
Yeah, it's scary. I never realized, like, how difficult it is to, like, get around, like, a college campus when you can't.
Well, especially in SUNY Oswego where it snows all the time. And, like, the weather's been so bad. Like, how have you been managing that? Like, it's icy. It's so icy.
Slippery. And, the boot that I'm wearing now, I'm not supposed to get it wet. So I have to wear a plastic bag over it if it's like really like if it's raining or if it's really snowy out, like because sometimes paths don't really get plowed.
No, yeah, they don't. Yeah, because they ignore it. They just say, "All right, do the main roads," because it snows there all the time. If they start plowing the side streets, they'll say, "Okay, they'll figure it out." But like, you obviously can't because people need them to walk around.
I look like such a loser with like a little plastic garbage bag over my foot. I'm like, as if I didn't look bad enough. Like now you're making me put a garbage bag over my foot.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Hopefully things turn around. Because we got a good show today. You honestly have lived one of the most interesting lives.
Thank you.
From any one of my friends, to be honest with you, because you have a lot of interesting things to say because you studied abroad. And good thing you studied abroad when you did and not now.
Oh my god!
Because study abroad programs are getting canceled.
I saw that. I saw a bunch of people getting sent home from Italy.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say one of my friends that I met in Jersey is studying abroad in Italy, and she's getting sent home this week.
Wow.
The week we're recording this episode. Yeah. So she's getting sent home. So that is crazy, and that really, really sucks. And I couldn't even imagine what that was like. It's like, hey, you're excited for this trip for so long, and now this thing comes up that no one was expecting, and you're all of a sudden getting sent home. So
I would have been so heartbroken.
Man, yeah, I know. I feel so bad. It's really terrible. So I guess we should just dive into that first since we're talking about it. So what was it like? First off, what country did you study abroad in, and what was it like living in a country by yourself for 15 weeks?
Okay, so I went to France. I have a French major, and ever since I was a little kid, I always loved French. I don't know why. Like, I had a substitute teacher in elementary school who used to teach us some French, like the alphabet and everything. I'd go home and I'd practice it. Like, I was hardcore. And, like, she was just a sub. So, like, she'd come back, like, 2 months later, and I was like, hey, like, this is the French alphabet. Like, I remember how to say, how are you? Like, all this stuff. And then I, did ballet growing up. That's kind of French. That's some French words. And then when I got to middle school, I picked a language. Obviously, I picked French. And it's been my dream to live in France for so long, probably since even before middle school. So I was constantly just like working to like learn French to become fluent. And I finally went to France. It was like the best 5 months of my life.
Wow.
Like, I don't even, it
That's
was
awesome.
so amazing. Yeah.
So what was it like? Because I was in Tokyo for 3 weeks, and after the 3 weeks for me, to be honest with you, I was like, I was, as much as I wanted to, do more things and stay there, I did miss home. And I did miss like, what the life that we're used to here, the food and the culture and stuff like that. So what was that like for 15 weeks, and all of a sudden you come back here and then it's like a whole different world again? What was that like when you're there and you have to adjust to a different culture? Yeah.
When I was there, people were like, you're going to face culture shock. My good friends who studied abroad were like, you're going to hate it for a little bit and then you're going to never want to come back home. And I showed up in France and immediately I was like in love. Like I did not, like, I don't want to sound like a bad person. I did not feel homesick.
Really? That's awesome. No, that's that's awesome. Yeah.
Because also, as you know this, when I'm at school, I'm a very busy person. Like I like to book myself like every single hour I have something to do.
Yeah, you almost do too much in my opinion, but it's a different conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in France, I didn't really have all that like extra, like I didn't have TV station, I didn't have, newspaper. Like I did things outside of like class and like hung out with friends, which was nice. But like my friends in the States were like, you're more available when you're in France to talk to than when you're in the States.
Which is so funny because you're 5 hours time difference.
Yeah. Yeah. And like my family lives about 5 hours away from Oswego, so like I don't go home a lot. So it kind of felt like with the homesickness, it didn't really feel that different because I only went home like twice a semester maximum.
No, I did too, right?
Really,
because we live in
Yes.
I did before I moved, but downstate New York.
Downstate.
So for us, it was like 5 hour, 6 hour drive. So we didn't go home that much. It was only like during the spring break and at the end of school, and that was it.
Yeah, and I had friends like one of the girls from New York. She went to New Paltz and she lived in New Paltz, so she just commuted. So she never had the experience of living away from home, and she had a hard adjustment at first. But like me and my other friend Katie, we were like, let's go, like because she's not used to going home that often either.
Yeah, I think at least when I was away, again, I wasn't as long as you were, but I think the hardest part for me was the culture and getting used to the food.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm just so used to a custom of what I eat / what everyday life is here. So I think for me that was the hardest part.
Everyone told me I have a really hard time finding food as a vegetarian in France. Everybody
that's right.
told me that.
You're a vegetarian,
yeah, and I'm very strict about it. Like I've been doing it for 10 years. I was not about to end that for anything. But I honestly had a pretty it wasn't difficult at all. France, and I was in a smaller city. I wasn't in Paris. I was in Eastern France. And everyone was like, it's gonna be really hard because you're not in a touristy spot, blah blah blah. But I think France is adapting a lot, and people just don't really realize it. It's like almost everywhere that I went, there was at least one vegetarian option.
That's good.
And then when the weirdest thing was in the residence where I lived, the kitchens were just hot plates. So for 5 months, basically, like 4 or 5 months, I cooked everything on a hot plate. Which was a little weird, but it was doable because most of what I ate anyway was pasta, vegetables and rice, stuff like that. Honestly, a lot of baguettes and cheese. So, it wasn't that bad. I'm not cooking meat or anything. But it was weird to then come back and be like, I have a whole stove. I have an oven. I can make things.
Library of stuff to eat. Now, did you have a dining hall or anything like that?
Yeah, so there was it's called the Resto U. It was so my school was part of a bigger school system. So it was French students from the other university under the same, I don't know how to explain this. I guess it would be for the area in France, let's pretend that's all the SUNYs, and the SUNYs were each for a different school. So mine was language, but then there's also there was engineering across the street or whatever, and science, stuff like that. So every student could eat there. It was $3.50, so €3.50.
So that's what,
I guess.
$6, $6 or something.
Maybe five.
Five.
Yeah, I don't remember the conversion, and it changes all the time. But it wasn't that bad, and they gave you a lot of really healthy food. And it was really good. There was vegetarian options every day, so I did that sometimes. Sometimes I'd bring my own lunch, or I'd walk, because the school was right in the city, so we'd walk down and get sandwiches or something like that. It kind of just depended on the day, but there wasn't a meal plan.
Right. That's cool that you were in the middle of the city though, because you had all these different
so nice
options. I'm sure your view was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, we were right on the river and it was gorgeous. I miss it so much, and all the buildings are super historic and old where I was, and I really miss that look.
Now, something crazy happened when you were on that trip though, because that was when that church caught fire. What was that like being there and hearing about that? Because that was not only really sad, but it was just such a crazy story, even just being here, and I can only imagine what it was like over there.
I actually remember I was with my friend, I believe it was Katie, and we went to the mall or something. We were waiting for a bus back, and we saw the news, and immediately I thought it must have been a terrorist attack, and that's what Katie and I both thought. And then French people with us were like, no, that doesn't happen, and I was like, oh. Okay, well, like, it's just a big cultural difference. Like, my mind's automatically, like, jumped to the worst. And so did Katie's. Like, the French were so much more relaxed. And they were like, no, like, I don't know. Because at that point, they didn't know what caused the fire. And then I had people texting me, which I appreciated. They're like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, like, I was, like, about 4 hours away, so I was fine. Then I texted my mom. So my dad texted me. He's like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm far away, whatever. Texted my mom, hey, Mom, I'm okay. She goes, yeah, I figured. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
Cool.
Thanks, Mom.
Cool. Yeah, and she's like, you're not in Paris. But I think, like, I was considering going to Paris that weekend or something, and then I didn't, which is wild. Or I think that was what it was. Or maybe I thought about going during one of the really bad protests. I don't know. But I'm really upset about, like, all the historic elements that, you know, burnt away and everything. I'm glad I went in high school, actually. So I got to see it at one point, but when it burned down, like, I was going to go to Paris later and visit. But, you know, I couldn't because then I could still see the cathedral, but
yeah, no,
it was different.
It's really sad, and it seemed like a lot of people there were sad. And isn't it going to take like many years for it to even be like in a like visitable state in terms of seeing it and going on tours and stuff? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, then there's like a lot of controversy over like, well, should the French government like the French people were like, well, should we really spend our money on this? Blah blah blah, and like other countries were getting involved too.
Yeah. So
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It's just crazy that I always feel like somebody that I know when they're in a different country, like there's like some major thing that happens, and that was yours. When I was away, I didn't really have anything crazy like that. But so that's cool. So you like the classes there. Didn't you go on like tours and stuff like that, like to see the different buildings and sites and all that stuff?
Yeah, so my school, the whole purpose was language learning, so it was a bunch of international students. So they would take us on some trips. I went to Luxembourg with the school. I went to Paris. I don't know if there was a third one. There was supposed to be a third one, but then it got canceled. I don't remember why. But yeah, so we did a couple things with the school, and then I went and I traveled with my friends, and I traveled alone. I met up with someone actually that I'm friends with from Oswego, Matt Rollins.
No way. Wow.
Yeah. You know Matt?
I don't.
Okay, well, he's broadcasting French double major, just like me. And he was in France the same time I was, but we were a couple hours apart, so we decided to meet up in Geneva, Switzerland, for like a weekend. And it was really nice to kind of see someone, like a familiar face, and, you know, hear about his experiences and everything in the school he was at.
So he was in a different program than you?
Yes. I went through a SUNY New Paltz program. He went through SUNY Brockport.
Oh, our school didn't have a program? We had to go through
They did, but it was only to Paris, and I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to live in Paris because I wanted a different experience. Yeah, I was afraid that they would only speak to me in English, knowing that I was American, and like people could speak English in my city, but you know, not quite as well. So I got spoken to in French, which was, you know, what I was there for. So I kind of really plunged myself into the, you know, non-Anglophone pool, but it worked out for the best.
And you're able to communicate okay and things like that, because like when I was in Tokyo, I had to use Google Translate quite a bit, which helped out a lot. But you know, because at least for you, like you're taking French classes and stuff like that. For me, it's like, you know, I didn't know anything, so
it was I think Oswego and like my high school French teacher was from France. So like I had a good basis. Oswego really prepared me. Like Madame Bertineau is amazing. So like I got there and like I wasn't like, obviously I wasn't the best because some people at the school were there for like multiple years and whatever. My friends from Japan stayed at the school for a year and like I only did a semester, but my abilities literally skyrocketed because of the classes I was in. Like they made you take a test, speaking, writing, listening comprehension, all that stuff. And then they placed you in like these individualized levels. So I had like class like 12, 13, and we were all at like almost the exact same level. I was the only American in the class, which was really fun for me.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone else is from a different country, and that's crazy. That's so crazy you're in a classroom and everyone else is just so different. But that's awesome though, because you get to see all different kinds of people, see what their life is.
Oh my god, yeah, I learned so much from all of them.
Because didn't you say like, well, you told me because we'll get to it later because we have a fun game with One Piece coming up later. Because I'm a huge One Piece fan. But didn't you say that like your Japanese friends were like obsessed with reading One Piece, like? Because it comes out every week, like, weren't they reading that? And you got to see, like, their culture, and then, like, you got to see, like, the other people's countries' culture in terms of games and movies and whatever else.
Yeah, I think one of my friends really likes One Piece. I don't remember which one. I think maybe Shuhei. But it was really cool to see, we had this, like, Around the World in 80 Plates festival, and different cultures, like, if they wanted to, they could perform, and all the Japanese students had the most amazing like dance routine to all Japanese music. It was so good. And it was really cool to like see other cultures in that kind of aspect and like what they wanted to put on performance. And also it was funny because like a lot of them consume American media. So they'd be like, Julia, like I watched this movie. It's American. And I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, we have Marvel movies,
Yeah, or they'd ask me things like, is that really what it's like in America?
Which is crazy
like,
too.
It's like,
because I got that too. Because you kind of take like a day to day for granted, like living here. So it's like people ask you like, is like this normal? Is that normal? It's like, yeah, I guess it is because we don't really think about it. But yeah.
They asked you somebody in high school. She was a high schooler, and I met her at this like event the school was having. She's French, and she was like, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "New York." She's like, "Oh, New York City." And I was like, "Actually, like right outside New York City. You have the whole Westchester." Like half an hour or 40 minutes outside the city, an hour, depending on where you live, like that whole spiel. And she was like, my dream is to go to NYU. Is your life like Gossip Girl? And I was like, no.
Yeah, it's like everyone thinks of New York and they just think of Manhattan, but it's like upstate New York where we went to school or where you still go to school is nothing like Manhattan. No. Not even close.
Nope. That's another thing. I would always be like, I go to school, like I live closer to New York City. I go to school like 5 hours away. And they're like, so you go to school in the city? And I'm like, no.
I wish. The complete opposite. Farmland,
I try to show them like on like maps and everything. And then like my teacher would be like, okay, she doesn't go to school in the city. New York is not just a city. And they were like, oh, okay. Like some of them, like honestly, I don't think knew like New York. There's more to New York than just the city.
Yeah, exactly, because they don't realize, but it's like crazy. It's like, guys, like it's not just Manhattan, everybody. It's actually like farmland in very rural areas and not so urbanized, especially the more north you go. And when you hit those SUNY schools, they're in the middle of just like, okay, take this highway for 3 hours and there's going to be nothing in between, our good friend who we know very well, Andrew, he grew up in a town very close to where school was, and he, even just his life is totally different than the life we grew up in. But it's kind of crazy though because it's full circle because I went to school upstate New York and now I'm doing a lot of work in the city and they're not even close to the same in terms of like just way of life and everything. It's like that. It's like they're two completely different places.
Yeah, something else was like it was interesting to learn about other people's ways of life and like how they like the French people. I love their way of life so much. I think it's the European lifestyle, but they're so relaxed. Like,
that's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. Because in New York, everyone's in a hurry.
Exactly.
It's crazy because in New York, like nobody talks to each other either. Like for me, when I go to the city, I have my headphones in. I'm not interacting with anybody until I step into the office. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Until I step into the the site wherever I am. That's it. Like I'm not talking to anybody on the subway. I'm not talking to anyone on the train. Nope. But it's like other places they do that.
Yeah, and it really surprised me because I'd like go out to like a French like a cafe and you can sit there for like 5 hours, just order a cup of coffee, no one bothers you. And I felt so anxious doing that. Like my friends and I would like meet up and I'd be like, I can't. And they're like, what do you like? You can stay, like you're allowed to. Like the French, they do that all the time. And I was like, the American in me is saying I gotta like drink my thing and like leave.
Oh yeah, or if you stay, you gotta buy something else.
Exactly, yeah, but they're just so relaxed. Like they take everything so like they really enjoy the smaller things, and that's something that I try to take with me as I came back to the States. Like not rush through everything.
Yeah, that's cool because that's the thing is like everyone, and again, it's just the mentality of being in the the New York City region where we grew up in. It's like everything is so fast paced. Everyone wants things here and now. So that's cool that you learn to kind of take your time on certain things and be in a relaxed state.
But then, of course, I came back and jumped right back into everything that I do at Oswego.
Right. So,
but,
yeah. So then you had to,
you know.
yeah, just adjust back into that, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So, I think that pretty much covered everything from that. Was there anything else you wanted to add about your awesome trip? And what about advice? What about advice for people? Advice. Let's do this. Advice for people who want to study abroad and are maybe afraid to do it, and advice for people when they come back from studying abroad, when they have to get adjusted back to normal life. Because I don't hear that side that much, so I want to hear what you have to say.
Definitely. So if you want to study abroad, don't settle for a program. I'm very stubborn. And I was like, I don't want to live in Paris. I don't want to do this. I don't want to live with a host family because of the whole vegetarian thing. I was like, I don't want to be a burden. So like, I had a whole list of things I didn't want and a whole list of things that I did want. So I scoured through the SUNY like base to find the perfect program, and I narrowed it down to 3. And like it took me forever. Like I went into the study abroad office sophomore year. Like I want to study abroad spring of junior year, and she was like, okay, that's great. Like you're really ahead of the game. But I literally I scoured through the sites. I found the perfect program, and that's I think one of the reasons I had such an amazing time was like I found a program that was everything that I wanted, and like it took a lot of time, but it was worth it. And then for coming back home, this is hard. I was like, not that I was upset to come back home because like I love my family and my friends and I wanted to see them and everything, but I was so sad. Like I was like crying the plane ride home.
Oh my god!
The plane ride landed at JFK. I have a photo on my Snapchat of me just like crying when I landed at JFK. And I was super happy to see my family. Like, my mom and my dad came to pick me up, which was really nice because I missed them a lot. My sister did not come, by the way.
Wow, shade.
I know, the shade is real.
The massive shade over there.
And I think my brother, I don't know if he was at home at that point, but yeah, it was nice to come home, but like it took me a couple days to really get back into it. And like I guess like it's okay to be kind of sad coming back and like just to keep in contact with your friends. Like I would text them, I'd call them over the summer. But I don't know. I just wasn't expecting how like upset I would be. And also I literally extended my trip by a week. Like I was really not ready to go home.
So wow, you were able to extend your trip a whole week too.
Yeah, and actually my mom was like, you should look into see if you could stay for the summer. And I was gonna look into it, but then like the whole visa process was like too much. So I came home, but I appreciated her support because like I don't know, it made me really sad to come home. And like when I think about France now, like sometimes I'll be like, man, I really miss this part of France. Like I wish that was here. But I'm trying to go back to Europe post grad, so we'll see how that goes.
You told me that, and I hope you get it because that would be super cool.
And
that would be really interesting to go full circle and do stuff post grad for that.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Yeah, because no, you're right though. Because for me, it's like I was ready to come home. But there are still some things you miss, though. Like, you definitely miss, like, especially in, like, Tokyo. You go to, like, a character-themed store, like, or a franchise-themed store. It's like I can't go to a Star Wars store in the United States. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the best that I have is, the Nintendo store in New York City, which I was just there, which is awesome, by the way. But it's like, we don't have that in, like, down the street, which they do in, like, the cities of in some of the cities in Tokyo, and then just all over, like every corner that you could go into a store and pick up merchandise from something from like a popular show there, and stuff like that. You just don't get that here. So there's some definitely things I miss, but there's also things I definitely don't miss, and I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Cool. Is there anything else you want to add on that, or do you want to move on to the next?
I can talk about France forever, so let's move on.
All right, let's move on because I did want to also talk about theater because you are huge into theater. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's one of the most important things in your life. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's hard because like I can't do it as much anymore, which makes me sad.
Right, but you were in a lead role in one of our plays at school, though.
Yes, I was.
And there were some questions I want to ask you about that. I know there's a lot of people who maybe think that they can't do theater because they're too nervous or something like that. But I think it's really cool. Our school has an amazing program. And you do have some stories that I want you to share. And I think one of them I'm going to say. But I want to know, what was it like auditioning for a lead role in the play? Because it was a big play too. It was like, big production, the thing. So what was it like to go on stage and audition and hope you got it?
I was so nervous. I was sweating profusely. Like I kept right before the audition, I was like, I don't know my monologue. I don't know. Oh my God. Then it was finally my turn to audition. Like I went in there and I did my monologue. It was about a really airheaded reporter. So it was super fun to play. Because it was there was some wild story that this girl was telling about how she went to go cover a serial killer case, and then she thought that somebody was Cher's manager. It was literally wild, and it was a lot of fun. And the more that people watching it laughed, the more comfortable I got and kind of more into it I got. I kind of channeled, I used their energy to make the monologue better, I guess. And then at the end of the audition, the director was like, okay, what role were you thinking of? And I was like, oh, I didn't think I'd get this far. So I was like,
nice.
Yeah, I was like, well, there's a French character, and I take French, maybe that, or maybe sometimes I've seen the Italian character be played French, so I guess I could do that. And then I was like, or I guess the American, I don't know. The American was honestly the part that I really did not like, and I got
it. So you got the part you didn't like.
I mean, wow. I grew to love the part. And then the callbacks, they had me read for. So in case people don't know the show, it's Boeing. There was 3 different women who, one was American, one was Italian, one was German. They were the 3 fiancés, whatever, of the dude. So for the callback, I read for the American first, and then they're like, okay, do the Italian. And I was like, okay. And then they're like, you got to do an Italian accent. And I was like, the only Italian accent I know is from Hilary Duff in the Lizzie McGuire movie. This is not going to go over well. Oh my God. And I just went for it. And the person I was reading with,
movies.
Oh my God, yeah, the person I was reading with was a good friend.
From childhood movies, that's crazy.
Sing to me, Paolo. Yeah, I was like, I can't do this. So I was like, you can't, this accent's gonna be terrible. He's like, that's fine, whatever. So we did the scene together. I left, and I was like, how bad is it? And he was like, I don't even know what you did. That was not an Italian accent. I was like, great. So then they had me read for the German, and I went French. I started kind of German, then I went French because that's just what I know. And then I read for the American again. And I was like, oh my God, they are trying so hard to make me seem good. They're giving me all the chances and I'm blowing all of them. And I called my mom after callbacks and I was like, Mom, I'm not going to be in this. I did not get it. And then I got the email that was like, hello, we'd like to offer you the role of Gloria, the American. And I was like, oh, cool. And I was really intimidated because everyone was so talented. But it was working with these people, especially my friend Evan. We had a lot of scenes together. He played the fiance's best friend, who I had a lot of scenes with. He's such a good and amazing actor that he really made me better. I was like, I gotta step up. I gotta step up to be as good as him, and I improved a lot. And I'm not a theater major, so if I can do it, you can do it. People listening.
Yeah, which is crazy because you're not even. I thought you were a theater minor for so long.
Everyone did.
That.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, you even despite that, you got a lead role and you beat out a lot of the people who are theater majors. So that's awesome.
I think a lot of it is it was Maya Brown was saying recently I'm in intermediate acting right now, the class. And she's like, success is opportunity meets preparedness or something. I don't want to misquote Maya. Something like that, which I think is really what happened. I knew my monologue. I watched the show, 5 different versions of it. I read the script. I was really prepared. And I must have looked, because a lot of it also is your look. So I, could have looked very American. I looked different enough than the Italian and the German that people wouldn't confuse us. I could have just been she might have been I want a brunette who's 5'4" and 3/4 with blue eyes and whatever. And then,
It's crazy how it just worked out. And even though you thought that you didn't do so well, you got the email saying, come back.
I was so thrilled. And that's actually also how I got into my TOP roles as well, is because of Boeing, because I was like, wow, I got this part and I can't anchor for TOP. I got to stay involved some way. Because, I'm a broadcasting major, and Melissa sent out an email last chance to apply for social media director. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to apply. At least I can say that I tried. And then I got it. And I was
yes, I remember when you got it. It's so cool.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, wow, that's surprising. So, I got that. So, I had a way to kind of be involved in both at once. And that's also then segued to me getting VP of HR, which is wild. still to me.
Right. Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah, just things worked. And remember when you thought you weren't going to get VP of HR again?
Yes, I
and
did.
You were so
I really
so
did.
worried, and I was like, "Why are you worried? Everyone wants you back." And you're like, "No, they don't. They don't." But no, they actually do. So you just kind of follow your instinct because everything just works out.
Literally, yeah.
In one way or another. Now, so what was it like going to those? Because my buddy Seth, and you know Seth very well.
Yes.
Good friend of mine who is also going to come on the podcast at some point. He told me that the schedule was the worst part of doing it.
Yes.
As much as he loved it, he said the schedule at the end, he was just so ready for it to be over.
Yes.
And especially for someone like him who does really well in school, who puts in 100% effort all the time. For him to do that, plus TOP, plus that play, I mean, that's really a lot. So what was that like for you to have to deal with, like, what was it, a 6-day-a-week schedule or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was like 5 for the most part. 5 for like, the regular rehearsals. And then when we got into tech weeks, it was, like 7 days a week.
7, wow.
6, 7 depended on like, schedule. But we had rehearsals normally 6 to 10, but sometimes like they'd call, like, because like the way it worked was the 3 fiancés were never in the same scenes until the end. So sometimes if I was like, hey, like I have a conflict till 7 on Mondays, whatever, they'd be like, okay, well, we'll call Jada or we'll call Kat instead of Julia, balance it out. But then we started doing show runs, rehearsals were like 6 to 10. And then when we did tech runs, it's full run of the show, kind of just depended on when we finished. It was a lot. But honestly, like I love theater. I wish I had more time for it. I auditioned for something this semester or last semester, but I went into it and I was like, okay, I'm the news editor, or at that time I was assistant. Like I'm the assistant news editor of the Osprogonian, so I can't do Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays. And they're like, okay, well, Julia, like that's a little rough.
At that point, your schedule was just, it didn't work out.
Yeah, but I really miss it because I love like making a character and I love acting. I like I've always liked acting a lot.
Yeah, because you're passionate and you're really good at it. So it's something you want to keep going. Yo, it's true, yeah. So yeah, obviously it's something that you want to keep trying to do. But at least on the flip side, though, at least you still anchor the morning show, right?
Actually, I'm not sure if I think it's public knowledge now. The morning show is Sundays at noon, which I cannot do.
Oh, Sundays in the afternoon. Oh, yeah. By the time this goes up, it'll be later. So I'm sure.
Everyone will know. Yeah. So the morning show was canceled and moved to Sundays at noon.
Okay, but you still do that show?
No, I can't.
Oh my God.
I work normally. Like I work every other week, and
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you did it last semester.
I did. Yeah, I loved it.
And you loved it. Yeah, exactly. So, plus it's your last semester and you want to kind of take things easy as much as possible. As much as possible for you.
Yeah, and I have an original production on TOP. Yeah, if that's possible. I have the zine on TOP, so I still get to be on air.
Right. So my point is you're still on air. You're still, doing that kind of thing. Not really acting, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
Talent, whatever, that's how I know it as, whatever it's called. Do you remember when you took one of my favorite people in the whole world, Toby Malone's class?
Oh my God.
and you told me that you went to his office crying. Yeah. Unless you don't want to tell the story, but I think it's amazing.
So
can you please let everyone know really just how great the theater department is and how supportive they are of everything, and how you were able to come back from that, because that was a really tragic moment for you, I feel like, and it kind of showed that everyone was so supportive of you and you were able to overcome that challenge.
So I was very overwhelmed when I took the dramaturgy class. That would be right before I went to France. So that was fall of 2018, I guess. Yeah, that sounds right. I was in the dramaturgy class, which meant you had to go to rehearsals and whatever. And previously I spoke with Toby and I was like, my schedule's really crazy, but I still want to be in it. Can I? He's like, yeah, that's fine. But then he was getting upset with the class because people weren't going to rehearsals, but I physically could not go to rehearsal. So Mondays I'd wind up just going for an hour and then not eating. Things like that. I made sacrifices. Were they the right ones?
That's not healthy though. Oh my God.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. You gotta eat.
And I'm a very sensitive, stressed out person. So every time he'd be like, well, people aren't going to rehearsals, like I'd get really upset. And I was like, I literally can't. He's like, that's okay. But then he'd like say that it wasn't, and I was like confused. So then one morning I was like, I need to have a meeting with you. And I went to his office, and it was right before we had class. So our class was at 9:35. I went in at like 9. And he's like, Julia, what's wrong? I started sobbing, like full on sobbing. And I was like, I'm so stressed out. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. And then he goes, don't you have like friends or a boyfriend you can talk to? And I was like, what?
Ouch.
Ouch. Okay, thanks. And then I was like crying, and he's like, okay, well, like you have to quit things. And I was like, no, you know? And he was like, okay, well, like I'm concerned for your health. And I was like, yeah, about that. Don't be. It's fine, whatever. So I was just crying. I was like getting all my feelings out about how like I felt like I couldn't do the class because like I can't go to rehearsal whenever, and I think he's like upset with me. And then I kind of stopped crying, kind of worked something out. And then he's like, okay, let's go to class. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, like it's 9:30, let's go to class. I thought he was gonna let me go home. I walked into my dramaturgy class like sobbing. Like I still had like, you know, after you cry when like your face is really red and your eyes are bloodshot. I walked in with him looking like that, and I was like, Jesus.
Isn't that the whole point of like the theater department too, is to like get out your emotions out and be like public?
Yeah.
That's what Henry taught
yeah.
us.
No, yeah, it is, but I was still
But that's
like,
crazy though. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like sobbing in his office as he was like giving me tissues and was like, don't you like have friends you can talk to? And I was like, oh, thanks.
But keep in mind, you still like this professor, and I do too.
Oh, of course, I love Toby. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's the best.
Once I walked into class after like I had that breakdown, and he was like, Julia, I always think you can't look any more tired, and then I see you and I realize I'm wrong. And I was like, oh. I love him though. Like after I had my breakdown, he'd be like, "Hey Julia, like how you doing?" And I was like, "Good, thanks. Like I'm doing good. Like keep check
that's
up."
good.
But
so the theater department has your back.
Yes.
Was there anything else you wanted to add about this before we move on to the last part of the show?
Ooh, about the acting, about Toby.
Yeah, about the acting. Theater in general. Anything like that. Any other stories? Anything else you want to add?
A lot happened during Boeing. I got a concussion. That was cool, I guess. That wasn't cool. That was a thing that happened. What else happened? Oh, it's something kind of weird. I didn't realize how many people actually saw productions, but right after Boeing, when Boeing was going on, like I was in the dining hall one morning, and someone came up to me and was like, "Were you Gloria?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh my god, like I loved the show. It was so good." And I was like, "Oh my god."
Oh yeah, people did that all the time.
Yeah, I didn't know how many people went to go see the show. And then after, when I met Andrew, he was like talking to me. And then I said something about theater, and he goes, "Oh my god, were you in, like I saw Boeing? Oh my god, like I can't believe that was you." People thought that I was a mean person.
Yeah, it's crazy because you think about that, right? It's like you see them in the dining hall and you think that they're like that's how they actually are because it's like so real.
Yeah.
Like it feels so real when you're watching it.
After Boeing, me and 2 other people in the cast were nominated for the Irene Ryan Acting Award. It's like a national award. So we went to like a festival to go like audition. Like I knew I wasn't gonna get it, but I was like, this is an amazing experience. Like wow, I didn't get it. I was not surprised. Anyway. When we were there, my friend brought Jada. She played Gretchen. She was also nominated, and she decided to come too. She brought her friend Steven, and I didn't know this guy before. And we were all hanging out, and then like a couple days into like the theater festival, he's like, I was kind of like intimidated. Like I thought you'd be a terrible person. And I was like, why? And he's like, well, I saw your character, and she was mean, and I thought they just typecast you. Like, I didn't think that you would, like, someone to be able to, like, flip a switch like that. And I was like,
yeah,
oh.
No, meanwhile, you're one of the nicest people ever. So it's like, for him to say that is like, do you, if I heard that, I'd be like, wow. Like, that's like so the farthest from the truth ever.
I never think I'm intimidating or anything. Like, I don't.
No, not even close.
Yeah. So, like, to hear that, I was like, wow, I guess I did my job well. Because, like, the character was very kind of like, I don't know how to describe her.
No, you did. You did. If people actually think that, then I would say that's what every actor or actress hopes for.
So that was a cool
that
experience.
They feel realistic. Yeah. No, that is really surreal. You're almost like a mini celebrity.
Yeah, it was weird. Like I didn't think people would go, like, except for my friends, of course, would go see the show, but people really did. And they had such strong reactions to it.
That's great. Yeah, when you have your audience really like your product that you make, or because you guys put in so much work for anything, really, for TOP, for theater in general, and when people see that hard work pay off, that must be an amazing feeling for you.
Yeah, it was awesome. The best part was like every audience had. So like the first opening night, we weren't used to people reacting to the jokes or anything because like the director's seen the show at this point how many times? Way too many. So like they're not gonna laugh, maybe a little chuckle. So the first time we did the show for like an audience, they went wild and we were like, whoa, people, like, this is funny, like we're funny, and we played off of that, and like people. There's part at the end of the show where like you find out, okay, my fiance Bernard, he had 3 fiancés. And you find out that my character did as well and was hiding it from him. And when the audience found out that she had 3 fiancés too, they started screaming. They were like, you get him. Oh my God. Like, you're amazing. Like, get it. And I was like, oh my God. Like, what is this?
Wow.
Yeah. The response was
crazy.
So good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. And of course, there was one show where nobody laughed at anything, and it was the most awkward show I've ever done.
Well, because the problem too is like you get those shows where they're mandated to go.
Yeah.
So like sometimes you'll get those shows because it's part of in the theater class you have to go to those shows. So sometimes you'll get the ticket that like works with everyone's schedule and you go, and then unfortunately the crowd is just not as excited.
Yeah, and then like the person who thought I was a mean person, he had to go for his class, and he was like, I wrote a review on it, and I think I called you like a really mean, and I was like, oh. Like the mean one or whatever. And I was like, oh.
The mean one, yeah. That's funny. Yeah, because you had to do like a short review. Like all the class had to do like a short review after the play. Yeah, that is crazy because it's it's like that for anything from movies, whatever too. It's like you go to a show, and if you go at the wrong time, it's like not as fun.
Yeah.
That's why it was cool. Like when I saw like the Pokemon movie, for example, I saw it in the afternoon because you get the reaction from all the fans that are there because. Kids and adults alike, they're all pointing at the Pokemon and stuff like that. Stuff like that was cool. Like when I saw the Sonic movie recently, you got the same kind of reaction. Mm-hmm. But if, I saw that movie at like 11 o'clock at night on like a Saturday.
Oh, wow.
And if I'm the one laughing at the jokes, it makes you feel awkward.
It's just you in the movie theater.
It's just me and like a couple other people in the movie theater. If I find some hysterical, it's like really awkward.
Mm-hmm. That's so funny.
So, yeah, it all depends on the time you go. But you were able to do all the shows fine, whether the crowd was good or not, and that says a lot about being good at theater, really, and being good at being talent in general. So,
thanks.
Is there anything else you wanted to add before we move on to the last segment of the show?
I think everyone needs theater in their life. That's it.
Yeah, I think Broadway is something that people should really try to go to. I haven't been in quite a long time, but even for me, I think I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, I love every time I see a show. It's like all I think. For like weeks. Like it's so amazing. Yeah. Because
it's, I like how it's live and how, everything can be like so off the cuff there,
Oh yeah. Like even when you're doing shows, things change. There was one show and take off my give it back to the fiance when I'm like dumping him for my other fiance. And I just like took off the ring and it flew.
Oh my God. So like, you can't plan that and you have to run with it because
exactly.
It's going on, and you have to be in the moment at that second and be like, okay, how are we going to, how are we going to adapt to this? But you have to do it off the fly.
Yeah, and whenever I see a show, something kind of looks like that. I'm like, I wonder if they planned that or if that was just like a cover up. Like I always wonder.
It is. No, that's my favorite part about it is how it's alive because, in a movie, it's obviously all post-production and stuff. But that's why I really like that movie that just came out in 1917 because that was almost like theater for the movie because they did that in like one take at a time. So like they do segments for like 10 minutes recording and they would just roam the take because there was no cuts during the take. They would do like hidden cuts if they went behind a guy or something like that. But everything that you saw in the movie was actually happening real time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I like stuff like that, and I hope we get more stuff like that in terms of movies because that's my favorite part about theater, I think, is how everything's live and you can't predict what's happening. Anything else? Or are you ready to move on?
I think, I'm ready. I'm ready to move on.
All right, so I'm actually really excited for this because you know I'm a big One Piece fan.
Yes.
But you know nothing about One Piece.
Correct.
Absolutely nothing.
I don't. I know it's Japanese, right?
So yes, it is actually the most popular comic book series ever. So I want to see what characters' names you can guess correctly.
Okay.
So I'm going to send you a picture of a One Piece character, and it will be a multiple choice question, and you will see if you can get that name correctly. And I want to see how well you do, because I think this is going to be hilarious. Okay, so if you look at your Discord, I'm dropping in the first picture. Okay, you see that guy right there with the straw hat? Okay.
Yeah,
so, okay, what is this character's name? Is his name either A, Bartholomew Kuma, B, Monkey D. Luffy, 3, Vinsmoke Sanji, or 4, Shanks? This guy, he's wearing a straw hat. You know, he's got the jean shorts rolled up.
What was the third option?
The third option was Vinsmoke Sanji, and this is the main character of the show. So I'm going to be really upset if you get it wrong.
I'm gonna say whatever the third one was.
No, it's not C. It is Monkey D. Luffy.
Monkey D. Luffy.
Yes, he is the main character of the show.
Huh. Okay. He looks familiar. Like I feel like I've seen his face.
Yes, he will be one of the icons of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, actually.
Oh, okay.
So he is the main character of the Straw Hat Pirates because he wears a straw hat, and he's awesome. So that's Luffy. Okay, now some of the characters have interesting designs, which is one of the reasons I love One Piece. So here's this guy. Who is this guy?
Okay.
Is his name either A? And by the way, all the characters' names that I have in this question sheet, they're all characters from the show. So I didn't make any name up. They're all real character names.
Even the Bartholomew one? That's a real dude?
Yep, Bartholomew Kuma. That is a real guy.
Oh, okay.
That is a real guy. Everyone's name is real. So is this character right here, this little raccoon dog, you know, he's got a hat. He's got, you know, a yellow shirt with stripes and like that. He's awesome. Is he either A, Laboon, B, Tony Chopper, C, Roronoa Zoro, or D, Frankie?
I'm going to say B.
It is Tony Chopper. It is Tony Chopper. Yes.
He looks like, I was like, he looks like a Tony Chopper.
He is, because he actually is a raccoon that can change shapes, and he ate a fruit that allows him to speak human.
Oh, love that.
So that is Tony Chopper. He's one of my favorite characters in the show. He's awesome. All right, now, here's a little bit more of an obscure character, but I think he's one of the coolest villains in the show. So he is a villain. There's that guy. So he's got a little pigeon next to him with a tie. Yeah. You know, he's got long hair, you know, suit and all that stuff. So is this character either A, Rob Lucci, B, Usopp, C, Grand Admiral Sengoku, or D, Vinsmoke Sanji?
Ooh, I think Vinsmoke Sanji.
It is not Vinsmoke Sanji. Oh. You're incorrect again. That is Rob Lucci.
Okay.
So Rob Lucci has that little pigeon as his companion, and he works for the world government, but he is an enemy of Straw Hat Luffy, and he's probably in my opinion, like the best villain in the whole show.
Oh, okay.
All right, next one up. This is the fourth one. So right now you are 1 for 2, which is not bad. That is actually not bad considering. So here's this guy, another one of my favorite characters in the show. So he's got a long sword. He's got a panda type hat. Yeah, he kind of looks a little serious. You know, he's a very serious character. Got a long sword. He is a doctor, believe it or not. So is this guy's name either A, Captain Augustus Kidd, B, X Drake, C, Basil Hawkins, or D, Trafalgar D. Law?
Okay, can you say the first two again?
Yes, first two is Captain Augustus Kidd.
Okay.
And B is X Drake.
Okay, and what were the last two? I'm sorry.
Yep, C is Basil Hawkins.
Okay.
And D is Trafalgar D. Law.
Okay, I don't think it's going to be the captain one because you're a doctor, and I feel like if you're a doctor, you're not a captain. So I'm going to go with B.
B is incorrect. It is D. And actually, he is a captain. And
he
is? A doctor. He is. Man. Yep, he is. Tony Chopper actually is a doctor as well, but he's not the captain. Yes, so Chopper's on Luffy's crew, but Trafalgar Law is an ally of Luffy, but he has his own crew, and he is a captain.
Okay.
So now number 5 is going to be this guy. Okay, so he's a really tall dude.
Oh, wow.
He's got a white mustache. Got a couple scars that you can see. So this guy, is his name either A, Whitebeard, which his real name is Edward Newgate, so that's A.
Okay.
Is his name B, Blackbeard, which is Marshall D. Teach? Is it C, Vice Admiral Garp, or is it D, Emperor Kaido?
I think it's C because he looks like an admiral.
He does look like an admiral, which is why I put that there, but he's not.
Oh.
He is actually a pirate. His name is Whitebeard, even though he doesn't have a physical beard. Nope, but his name is Whitebeard Edward Newgate.
I feel gypped.
Yeah, he is one of the most powerful pirates in the whole world of One Piece, actually.
I feel cheated. Like, I feel betrayed by this not admiral.
Let's move on to the next one, because
Okay.
he is not. Okay, this guy is awesome. He's got a little top hat, blonde hair, blue, shirt with a trench coat. This guy here, is his name either A, Porcus D. Ace, B, Sabo, C, Monkey D. Dragon, or D, Brook?
I think this is Brooke.
Nope, it is not Brook. This is Sabo. This is Sabo.
I'm so bad at this.
It's okay. You know what? You got one of them. I'm proud of you. You at least got one of them. So that is Sabo. Okay, so then we got this character. Okay, so it's loading. Okay, she's got orange hair. She's has a staff. She is a member of the Straw Hat Pirates, and she is one of the first members of the crew. So there's a little hint, which I don't know if you can help.
Probably not, but maybe.
So is it either A, Nami, B, Boa Hancock, C, Nico Robin, or D, Koala?
I'm going to say C because I like the name the best.
No, it is not Nico Robin. Nico Robin is a member of the Straw Hat Pirates, but this is Nami, actually.
Okay.
So Nami is the navigator of the group, basically the smartest person in the pirate group, I'd say.
Wow.
Okay, so wow, that's your answer.
I'm doing great.
You're doing great. Yeah, we know one of 8 so far, not bad. Okay, so now we have this guy. Okay, this guy.
Ooh.
So he's a fish man, really big. He's got also long hair. He's got a sun tattoo. So is this guy right here? Is his name either A, Arlong, B, Tiger, C, Jinbei, or 4, Hachin?
A. I'm pretty confident. Is it A?
No, it is not Arlong.
Are you kidding me?
No. So Arlong is one of the first villains we see in One Piece, but that is not him. This is Jinbei. He's another ally of the Straw Hat Pirates.
Man, I was so confident too.
I know, you were confident. You said that right away.
I was like, A. It's
you
gotta
said
be
that
A.
right away. You're like, it's gotta be A, but unfortunately it's not. All right, then we got a couple more here. We got a few more. So there's still time to bounce back, maybe. So we got this character. She was in earlier arc of the show. She's got blue hair, very long hair, and she has a little she rides on a little duck partner that's acts as a horse, but it's a duck. It's pretty cool. Now she is a princess, so is she either A, Princess Vivi, B, Princess Viola, C, Princess Rebecca, or D, Princess Shirahoshi?
I'm caught between B and C. So B was Viola, right?
B was Viola, and A is Princess Vivi.
Okay, and C is?
Princess Rebecca.
Something wants me to say Rebecca, but I'm going to say V.
What's your answer?
Okay, part of my heart is telling me Princess Rebecca.
Okay.
But my brain is telling me Princess Viola.
Okay.
So I'm going to say Viola.
Okay, well, neither one of those things are right because her name
love
is
that.
Vivi.
Wait, what is it?
Princess Vivi.
Vivi, oh man.
Vivi, yeah, Princess Vivi. So neither the brain nor the heart was correct in this case. So, rip. You're doing great, by the way. Okay, let's see if you can get this guy. Okay, he's a very important character in the show.
Okay.
Even though he is not featured every episode, he is the reason why everyone's looking for the One Piece. So he's got, he's a pirate. He's got the red trench coat, and he is very, very famous in the universe. And he's in the intro of the very first season of the show.
Okay.
So is this guy either A, Shanks, B, Gold D. Roger, C, Rayleigh, or D, Ben Beckman?
I really thought this was gonna be Blackbeard, so I'm a little shook.
Okay. It's not Blackbeard. No.
Can you read me the answers one more time?
Yes.
Okay.
A, Shanks. B, Gold D. Roger. C, Rayleigh. D, Ben Beckman.
Gold D. Roger.
It is Gold D. Roger. You got it. Yo!
Finally.
It is Gold D. Roger. Yes, he is the king of the pirates.
Amazing. Okay.
He is the king of the pirates, and that was him right before he was executed.
Oh, he was executed?
Yes, so he was the one who started the chase for the One Piece, because before he was executed, he told everyone that his treasure was out there. If you find the treasure, you'll be the next king of the world. So that is Gold D. Roger, who they are still looking for the One Piece to this day, 20 plus years later.
Wow.
And the show's been going on a long time.
That's
okay,
crazy.
Second to last one here. All right, this is one of my favorite characters of the show. So he's got 3 swords.
Okay.
In this photo right here, you see he's wearing like a samurai type outfit, but he's got green hair. You know, he's got a bunch of scars on his chest as well. So is this character either A, Hawkeye Mihawk,
Okay.
B, Odin, C, Crocodile, or D, Roronoa Zoro?
Okay. Part of me wants to say crocodile because he's green, but I feel like that's not the answer, but I'm just gonna crocodile.
It is not Crocodile. It is
Oh my God.
Roronoa Zoro. He is the swordsman in the Straw Hat Pirates.
I am disappointed
Well,
in myself.
You got 2 of them.
That's
two of
true.
them, which is actually pretty good considering you've never even seen the show. So then this is the last thing we're going to talk about. This is actually the ship I put as a character, but the ship is pretty important, and they actually do consider it a character in the show, believe it or not. So this ship right here is very iconic. It's very famous. It's really cool looking. You know, it's got a little goat on the end of its head there. You know, got the Straw Hat logo there. So is this photo of this ship, is that ship A, what is it called? Is it called A, the Red Force, B, the Oro Jackson, C, the Thousand Sunny, or D, the Going Merry?
Ooh, I'm gonna say D.
It is the Going Merry. You got it. Yes. You got 3 out of 12. That is actually really good.
3 out of 12. I failed, but that's okay.
You failed, but who's keeping score, really? That was fun. that was awesome. You did a lot better than I thought you would.
I did better than I thought I would too. I thought I'd get like every.
Yeah, I'm surprised you got Chopper. I'm really surprised you got Chopper, and I'm really happy because Chopper's the best. So that was the One Piece game. I hope you learned something.
Oh, I did. Oh, definitely.
There are like over 1,000 named characters in One Piece, I think. Probably even more than that. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of characters that all, like, even just random background characters that have a name. So the fact that you were able to get some of these characters by never even watching the show is pretty awesome. So good job.
Thank you.
So, all right. So that is going to bring an end to the second episode of the Generation Zen podcast. Julia, where do you, I don't know if you want to plug anything, a social media account or anything like that, you know?
I don't know. I guess like I have a Twitter and an Instagram Twitter at Julia _ or double underscore Tilley.
Oh, 2 underscores.
I have an Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah, Julia Tilley is a common name, I guess. And then my Instagram is the same. I'm not really good at posting on those accounts. I'll try my hardest. I'll do it just for the people listening here.
There you go. And those your accounts will be in the description of the episode as well, so people can just
follow
you there. Yes. So if that's all you want to plug, this is a great episode. I think people are going to learn a lot. And I think you were very interesting. And I want to thank you so much for coming on the second episode of the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
You're welcome to come on again at any time if you have something that you feel like talking about.
Okay. Yeah, I will. I'll be like the guest every
other week guest. Yes. Because the first couple episodes, I'm doing kind of interview style. But as we go forward with the episodes, I want to make it a little more structure, less formal, more fun. So this is just first couple episodes to get people introduced to the show. So
if you ever want to talk about boy bands, you know where to find me.
Okay, if people, if you and Post Malone, which is
and Post Malone,
which for you to me is like such a drastic. Like I can't believe it doesn't feel real that you like that guy.
You know,
it's just funny because it just doesn't seem like you, which is not a bad thing. It's just funny.
I love Post Malone as a person. I love his music. I love everything about him. But I think it was Matt Watling, maybe. I don't want to like keep name dropping people, but I think Matt once was like, we were in Ligonian together, and he was like, "Do you actually like him, or is it like you ironically like Post Malone?"
That's what I was
thought.
Nothing. Ironically like the guy.
No, I love Post Malone. Wow. Like I love his music. He seems so.
Because cool. Melissa, I knew that, and like I get that, but like it's just funny about all the other different tastes of music you have. Like you like him so much. It's just funny.
My taste goes from like One Direction to like
Post Malone
show tunes. It's so weird, but like I love Post Malone so much. But yeah, everyone thinks it's like a joke.
But it's not a joke.
It's not a joke. It's real.
You heard it here first. If anything gets if anyone gets anything out of this episode, you heard it here first. That you seriously like Post Malone is not just a joke.
Posty, if you're listening.
Well,
let me know.
If he wants to come on the podcast, he is more than welcome to come on the podcast. God. And if he does come on the podcast,
you need to tell me.
You will be on the podcast.
Sounds good.
So we'll see if that happens or not, but we are open to having him on. Just throwing it out there. Since you are aren't you like one of his like point?
Oh my God,
1%?
Yeah.
I saw that on like 1% fans or something like that.
I tweeted. Well, I'm just surprised I didn't get that for One Direction. But like one day, Spotify was like 3% of fans listen to his music here, and I was like, what? Like I didn't know I listened to that much.
No, it's like crazy because I never got that notification before, and like there's bands I listen to all the time that don't have many followers that I'm surprised I haven't gotten anything for. So.
It's
super
weird.
Cool, and there's millions of Post Malone fans, so you're in the top 3. So,
congratulations. I know, and he still hasn't noticed me.
And he hasn't noticed you, so I don't know what's going on with that. But
I don't either.
You know what? Hopefully he listens to the podcast because
I'll send it to him.
Yes, send it to him. When this comes out, you should tag him and be like, "Listen to the podcast."
I will.
So. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of the Generation Zen Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Twitter because that's the only account we have right now. Maybe we'll make more. Who knows? But it's at GenerationZen _ because somebody took the regular Generation Zen with no underscore, and they've been inactive for like 10 years.
Oh, that sucks.
So we're a little upset over here about that because, give up that account if you're not using it because we don't want to tag an underscore. But for now, there's an underscore in there. So until that guy decides to give it up, like hopefully we become famous enough where we can be like Reggie. And when Reggie from the old president of Nintendo America made an account, he was able to just get at Reggie. Like that is so cool. So hopefully we become famous like that. But in the meantime, at GenerationZen _. And thank you everyone so much for tuning in. And Julia, thanks again for coming on the show. And
anytime.
And you are more than welcome to come on again. And we will see you all in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Wait, Julia, say bye again.
Bye.
Okay, there we go.